What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I just saw two videos. First video, the gloves are off with Lucas Brown and Dillian Whyte, and that particular show, I like that show. It's like Face Off because Face Off has been put on a freeze due to the budget cuts at HBO, but Gloves Are Off. Gloves Are Off is live and well. And I like the show, man. And then these guys were just going back and forth with what they will do and stuff like that. And Dillian Whyte, man, he's a throwed off dude. Because I'm looking at like the back and forth, and they give close-ups of how the other fighter reacts for what the other person remark was, So they want to see how they reacted to the things they said. And Dillian Whyte just has this like, I've seen outbursts, of like different fighters with, emotion-driven fighters, First one comes to mind is like Mike Tyson or Zab Judah. Zab Judah had a bad emotional problem, when it came to, containing himself and controlling his emotions, and just having outbursts and, other stuff like that. But the dude is off the chain. Like, he was looking like it was retarded, man. But the gloves are off. That was a good, special. And then it made a lot of points in, that both fighters made. And, that was that. They did their verbal. And then now I seen the fight. And Dillian Whyte knocked out Lucas Brown. Now, he knocked him out the worst way you could knock out a fighter. Because one thing to just get knocked out, like the old Mike Tyson or David Tua like knockout, like he just catches you and boom, you're gone. You know what I mean? Those are really the ones, it's just like putting somebody out of their misery almost. But the way Lucas Brown got knocked out, he got outboxed, beat up, beat down, and knocked out. So that's it's one thing to get knocked out, but it's another thing just taking a beating. Lucas Brown took a beating, and he didn't have a game plan of what he was going to do. He relied totally on his power as though he was Deontay Wilder or somebody, And I looked at that fight, and I was like, I felt bad for Lucas Brown because I'm like, dude, what did he expect that you were going to do? But you got to have big ups to Dillian Whyte because Dillian Whyte came in, he controlled his emotions. He did rock Joshua because Joshua was the only one that knocked him out, that stopped him, okay? So, he has that experience of being in there with Joshua. And Dillian Whyte has some good boxing ability. It's not great, but it's good, and he's a nice sized guy. He's not a small heavyweight. He has some size on him. He's not the hardest puncher because the punches that he caught Lucas Brown with, unless Lucas Brown just has a good chin, he's a strong Aussie, and they're known to be tough ass dudes. But, unless he had a strong chin, Dillian Whyte should have got him out of there with those shots that he had. And I noticed he set that up good. He set it up perfectly. He ripped shots to the body. He worked his jab. So he out-jabbed him. He out-fought him. Lucas Brown did not have an answer. So, but Dillian Whyte did hit him with precise shots that could have knocked him out had he had that being another guy, throwing the same punches with the same, with their power level, but Dillian Whyte did knock out Lucas Brown after he beat him up, outboxed him, outworked him, bloodied him up, cut him up, bruised him up, and knocked him out. And it was bad because, in Britain they have the better rules and regulations. They're real strict. If you get hurt, I'm surprised they didn't stop it due to the cuts because Lucas Brown was cut everywhere. He was cut all over his face. Dillian Whyte showed him no mercy. He Cobra Kai'd his ass. You know what I mean? He ripped those punches to the body. He ripped him upstairs, and he was throwing that left hook to the body, and he eventually set that left hook up. I noticed that, so Dillian Whyte definitely had a game plan going in here. And he did it. And he executed it. And he hit it his motions. You got to give your props off to Dillian Whyte. But what does this fight mean to the heavyweight division? This fight means that, you know, I just did a video today about boxers being verbal about what they want, what the desires in the sport. And the quiet man doesn't get fed, but the one that opens his mouth does. And Dillian Whyte opened his mouth and he called out Deontay Wilder. Hey, Deontay, let's make it happen in June. Joshua won't be ready. Let's make the fight happen. I know what Deontay Wilder said. You know, he called Dillian Whyte a peasant. But after him knocking out, beating up, beating down an undefeated fighter that was once in the mix, you know, he's 38. Hey, Ortiz supposed to be 38, right? Link them up, match them up, you know, because the similarities are there. You know, what if he can't get the Joshua fight Deontay Wilder? What if he can't get the fight? He has to fight somebody. He might as well go over there and fight a countryman to show the British fans, to get a British base under him, you know. Just like the other video, I stated he has no backing. He has no country behind him like Joshua does, okay? So he needs to go over there and show these British fans what he can do in the ring. So if he goes in there and takes out Dillian Whyte, there'll be no question that that fight with Joshua needs to happen sooner than later, you know? But I don't think it'll happen right away too. However, it could happen this year if he plays ball and just goes in there and deals with Dillian Whyte, if he can beat Dillian Whyte. Because Dillian Whyte, again, is a good boxer. And I've seen clips of Wilder spar with David Haye. So, you know, and David Haye was catching Deontay Wilder. I know it was early in his career, and I know it was sparring, yada, yada, yada. But sparring means a lot. You're still getting hit. You're still throwing punches. You're still in that ring. Okay, so a lot of people that say, oh, that was just a sparring match, yada, yada, yada. It's still physical and it still counts in my book. You know, it's a great barometer to see what a fighter does to each other. Okay, so you'll know that'll play out in the ring. So, but again, that looks like a good fight on the, you know, on the making. You know, it's always the alternative. Boxing never goes the way you think it's going to go. You always want to wait. You know, fights, some people want to wait for it to get bigger than what it is, whatever. That might be an excuse, whatever. But there isn't an alternative. That's the reality of it. So if Dillian Whyte calls out Deontay Wilder, I'm waiting for Deontay Wilder to show a rebuttal. And when he does, I will report it live to you guys. But until then, you guys tell me what you think about it. Check out, I'll take the link, and I'll put the link below to show you the blow-by-blow knockout of Lucas Brown to you guys and show you what I saw today. You know, leave your comments, concerns, remarks below. Please subscribe. Until then, you guys been counterpunched. Peace.